you've got to look at how can we play to our own individual strengths so that we can accomplish a whole heap of a lot more together than what we could accomplish just being alone. Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to Pillars of Wealth Creation. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. With me, we got Matt Jones. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing, Todd?
I'm doing excellent, man. And we were just sharing notes. I went to Yellowstone in the Grand Tetons, and then you just got back from the Yellowstone and Grand Tetons. So kind of fun to be able to talk about the same place. We went, you went maybe 3 weeks after me, 3 weeks after me?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So how was it?
Oh, just amazing. I mean, it's sights and things that you just don't experience in Minnesota. Just the mountains there and, pushing ourselves, me and my wife, to our limits with hiking. It's amazing what the body can do, like if you really push it.
Yeah, if you really want to do it. And it's a lot easier when there's some pretty amazing stuff to see, right? If you're like hiking and it was pretty boring, you like 4 miles into it, you'd be going, oh my gosh, this is such a long hike. But, when you got amazing sights to see, 12, 13, 14 miles, it's not that bad.
Exactly. Goals are good.
Yeah. Well, it kind of is like business, right? If you're doing things that you don't like to do, it's painful. You don't get a lot accomplished. You don't maybe do it as well. It takes you a lot longer. But if you do things you're good at, you enjoy, and you practice at, it's fun, right? You get it done quickly. You do it right. You do a quality job, so kind of like that. Hiking something that's boring, if on a hot day without enough water, the hike sucks, but if it's a great day to hike and you got a lot of beautiful scenery and you're well prepared, it's an amazing adventure.
Yep, exactly. I mean, if you enjoy what you're doing along the way, then you're energized by it and you're going to do it a lot better than if you feel like you're going through drudgery.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, it's funny how some of the things you do in life, if you really think about it, it's the same. It's kind of a lot of the same. It's just the business is the same, just a slightly different, right? If you're well prepared, if you have enough water, if you have enough, preparation, if you have the right equipment, if you have the right team, right? It makes it a lot easier. If you're doing things you really enjoy doing, if you're seeing beautiful scenery, if you're doing things you really like to do and can be accomplished, it all works together, right? And that's kind of what we're talking about today, right?
Yep. Yeah, we're talking. Well, I mean, it's connected. It's essentially playing to your strengths. There's a lot of different things that you can do in business and real estate, a lot of different like roles and hats you can wear. But if you're really focusing on the aspects that you're good at, that you enjoy, and then having other people do all the other stuff, you're going to be a lot more successful than if you tried to force yourself to do the things that you hate.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good timing. You actually brought this topic up, but it's really good timing for me because that's what I'm looking at with Matt Bronner and Drew Whitson, who I've been partnering with on deals. And we are just talking about, forming a brand together and how do we play to our strengths and what we enjoy doing. Because quite frankly, we've all done, I've done my own deals. I have brought down, 100+ unit deals on my own with, only my capital partners, my private equity. But I was the sole GP. Matt has done very similar, and Drew has, done it as well with maybe, I think he's always had at least one partner, but either way, we've all done our own deals. And so we know how to do everything start to finish, right? So we can do it. We can accomplish it on our own. But we sat down for maybe 3 hours the other day and had a whiteboard and went through a lot of stuff and a lot of what our strengths are, what we can do on an individual basis to help the entire process and the entire team out and to accomplish the same big goal. And that's what you got to look at. You've got to look at how can we play to our own individual strengths so that we can accomplish a whole heap of a lot more together than what we could accomplish just being alone.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're looking at that. Like I said, I could do it all, right? I certainly could. I've done it before. I could do it again, but would I accomplish as much and would I be as productive and would I do as good of a job? And I can honestly answer that no, as long as I leverage their strengths, right? What was happening on these deals that we've done together so far already is that each of us was kind of playing all of the roles. So Matt would look at a deal. I would be looking at deals. Drew was looking at deals. We're all talking with brokers. Sometimes we're talking with the same brokers and we're almost fighting against each other. We're not fighting against each other, but you know what I mean? We're not being productive, where now we've taken the approach of only one person is really in charge of the deal flow, right? That's only one person's job. Only one person's job is being in charge of building the investor database and with investor relationships and with the equity. Only one person is charged of the finance aspect of it. Only one person is in charge of the construction management. And so each person has their own roles. So that way, this deal gets teed up. It's not like, who do we talk to? Right? This deal starts through the process. Who do we talk to? Who's the lender talking to during all this process? Who's the insurance person talking to through this whole process? Who's the property manager report to? So we want to make sure we have that set up the right way. And again, we want to play to our strengths. We got to figure out what are we good at? What are we going to really enjoy doing? What are we going to prepare at? And how are we going to accomplish a lot together?
Yeah, not to say that you can't help each other out, but if each person
there's a lot of cross still. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, if each person owns like one, the roles that they're good at, that they enjoy, then it just creates a synergy that like everyone's doing more together, essentially.
Hey, real quick, I want to talk to you about the North Star Real Estate Conference. We've got the North Star Real Estate Conference. It's a third annual. Of course, we're back live this year after taking a 1-year hiatus and being virtual. We're live. We've got live and virtual options for you. So I'd love to see you there. North Star Real Estate Conference. It's all about cash flowing real estate. So we're going to be hitting on multifamily. We're going to be hitting on all things commercial. We'll be talking about syndications, asset management, all of that stuff that you're going to need to know, and the mindset behind it. I've got a great lineup of speakers. So go on to northstarunlimited.live, buy your tickets now. Want to see you there. I want to network with you. I want to shake your hand. I want to get to know you. And we've got a ton of people that are going to be there wanting to do the same thing. So join us, North Star Real Estate Conference, October 7th and 8th. And it is in the Twin Cities at Mystic Lake Casino. So I hope to see you there.
I think back on like Henry Ford and what he did to the auto industry. Before Henry Ford, people like auto builders, it would be like, one person or a couple of people like working on one car, and they'd build it all from start to finish. They'd do everything for that one particular car and then start afresh from a new car. And then what Henry Ford did was like make the line assembly where, one person does this specific thing and then move the car on. And then you just keep on doing that one thing. And you're just like become so good at that one thing and more efficient. And especially if it's something that you like doing, then you're going to blow it out of the water. And if you got everybody working together in that line, doing all those things, like you're going to do more as a result than trying to do everything on your own.
Yeah, 100%. Because as smart as what we like to think we are, and as organized as what we like to think we are, as focused as like, what we like to think we are, we're just not that good,
Mhm.
you know? And so if you have the right people in place, you're going to be a lot more accomplished. And so, yeah, I'm in charge. And you talk about crossover too, right? And that does happen. Like I'm in charge. I'm going to be doing the investor relationships. I'm going to be building that. I'm going to be growing the platforms. I'm going to be, you know, that's my main thing. But at the same time, it's not like I'm going to tell my other partners, hey, don't go find investors. If you talk to an investor, don't talk to them, send them to me because I'm the guy. No, no, that's not the case. Go ahead and still grow relationships, but that's not their main focus, right? They're not working on building a big platform. They're not working on making sure they get out in front of everybody to build investor relationships. But as investors come to them, certainly. Same thing with the deal flow. I've already got relationships with brokers. As a deal comes to me, certainly I'm going to talk with my brokers. I'm going to send that deal on to, you know, get underwritten and still going to make sure we're doing our parts. But again, it's not our main focus, and we have to have that specific process. And each of us has to have your own role, just like the assembly line.
Mhm. So you mentioned you and Drew and Matt were talking the other day and deciding like how this is going to lay out. Like how do you go through that decision making process of who does what?
Yeah. We just we kind of I think we all kind of knew, right? We knew what we're good at, um, and what we wanted to focus on. And I knew what each of them were good at. So it was really pretty easy. And
Mhm.
we've been working with each other now on multiple deals for quite some time. And so I already knew, who took charge of specific things, who's been the one that's kind of led the charge on certain things. So we knew that. So for instance, I'm doing investor relations and I'm doing construction management. Well, I'm a contractor. I've got a big long history of construction, management. I flipped a bunch of houses, worked remodeling construction through college and after. Like it just naturally fits, right? Investors. I've got a podcast. I post on LinkedIn and Facebook and stuff like that. I speak at conferences. I got my own conference um, that I co-host, and so it's just a natural fit, right? It makes a lot of sense. So I think you just got to look at, okay, what do you really, and also I like it. Like, so there's certain things you like and things you maybe don't like as much. And so I think that's what we went through is what are we going to be good at? What are we going to make sure we actually are able to do and be in charge of? And all right, let's pick those things. So we all picked our avenues that we know we're going to be able to accomplish, spend a lot of time on, and enjoy doing and be good at. So part of it when you're going, well, how do I do it between myself and this partner? Well, first of all, part of it is you got to find partners that aren't exactly like you, right? And don't have the exact same strengths. The other part of it is you just got to be brutally honest with yourself. What are you truly going to spend time on that you enjoy doing? And if you don't enjoy doing it, well, you probably shouldn't be a part of what you do, right? You should probably give that away. So, and I think we've all realized too, and this is as you grow, we've realized, well, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to, I'm managing the construction portion. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm actually on the property and I'm actually doing the construction management, but I'm in charge of that team. So I'm in charge of finding the person that's going to be there on site. I'm in charge of the person that's actually doing that. And I'm giving the vision to them and making sure they are implementing the vision, right? I'm not necessarily ordering materials. I'm not necessarily organizing the job, but I'm making sure that we have somebody in place that's doing their job. I'm asking tough questions. I'm keeping them focused on what needs to happen. That's my job.
Mhm. Awesome. Yeah, it goes back to that book that we both recently read, the Who Not How. So instead of figuring out how you can do something, rather find the person who can do it for you.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's, we could keep on pounding it, but there's not a lot more to talk about. You have to play to your strengths, and you have to find the other people to fill in the gaps. If you're not going to do that, you're not going to grow. And so it really you have to look at, what are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to do? If this is a hobby, then go ahead and do everything. If this is a business, then you have to play to your strengths. You have to find people that can fill in the gaps, whether it's partners or whether it's people you hire. You have to find those people, fill in the gaps. That is the only way you're going to accomplish what you want to accomplish if you're trying to build a real business.
Excellent.
So, what else?
All right.
Anything else?
No, that's all I got for today.
All right, man. Well, you take care. Don't be too distracted now that you went on this beautiful vacation and you're looking at your pictures and you know how that goes. So you have a fantastic rest of the day, man, and make every day Saturday.
Thanks, you too.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you being a loyal listener. I would love to have you go on to our Facebook page and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, go on to iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe. Your rating and review just helps us push this out to more and more people and continue to grow our audience and hopefully positively affect a ton of people out there that really need this and want this. So the other thing I've got for you is a free ebook on my website. So go on to venturedproperties.com, and download our free ebook on real estate and on syndication. And I've got some data points in there, some really good stuff for you. So I'd love to have you take a look at that. It's free. I'm not expecting anything from it. And also, look, if you want some help in multifamily, want some help learning, growing, getting your business off the ground, I would love to talk to you about what it would look like to work with me potentially and see if that's a good fit. So you can go to coachwithdex.com and check that out, and we can definitely have a call. Thanks a lot for listening. You make it a fantastic rest of the day. I'll catch you on the next episode.